We have here a 10.47 kilo dual suspension mountain bike. This is the Scott Spark RC SL 900, the top line bike in the size medium, and it weighs in at 23 pounds, 1 ounce. Is this bike worth the price tag it warrants or it got? Stay tuned to ask the video. We're here at Free Ups by Santas on these Scott Syncros Silverton SL 2.0 wheels right here. This is a full one-piece carbon fiber wheel set right here. We have here in our possessions the 2023 Scott Spark 900 RC SL. Their top-of-the-line mountain bike for cross-country out there that retails for, yes, I said it, $15,000. Now wait, before I get into this video, I know what you guys are thinking. Grant, how did you get this bike in your possession? And 2, can I buy it from you? Of course, 1000%. All you guys need to do is write me out a personal check to my name, not the business name, for 15 grand, and this bike can be yours. I only have this one medium in stock, so please guys, don't all call me at once, because I know a lot of you guys have $15,000 burning a hole in your pocket at this time, and you want to get rid of it. This is the best way to do so. But with all that being said, this bike is absolutely gorgeous, all right? There's a lot of features on this bike that make it one of the top of the line cross-country mountain bikes out there on the market today. And Scott specifically developed this bike with Mr. Nino Schroeder out there himself. And when it comes to mountain biking in general, when Nino says jump, you ask how high, all right? The man has literally dominated men's UCI mountain bike world championship races. And they developed this bike again with the longer travel in the front, the longer travel in the rear. And this is a dual suspension bike. The suspension is hidden inside of this rear belly right here as well. But again, they did a couple things to go ahead and make it a better ride for the end user. And we're seeing a lot more companies as well make a cross-country bike that used to be the normal of 100 mil travel front rear, go to bigger travel to make it more capable of doing better obstacles, maybe make it better for end user rider or end rider user in terms of like going over jumps, going into cornering, and the same thing with like the wider tires as well with the endurance on there. They want to make a bike that's more comfortable ride for longer periods of time. But mainly they've developed this bike with bigger travel for, they basically said it for the XC courses of the men's UCI men's championship race. They want a bike more capable to go into features faster and go into corners as well faster. So that way they don't have to slow down as much for it. Now, with all that being said, let me go over all the crazy tech that's on this bike today. We have on here $5,000 wheels. We have their SL version of the mountain bike, which is their super light version, the best carbon fiber they offer. We have on here Fox Nude suspension, their step cast fork, and a 34 stanchion. We have a rear Fox shock hidden inside of this door as well. This bike does have this proprietary little cup right here for the headset space to go ahead and change the angle of the head tube to make it a little bit steeper. And then the XX1 SRAM Axis drivetrain. It is not the transmission kit, but this bike was released before that. So this bike is capable to take on the new transmission system, but you still get the older model rainbow set, which is still, by all means, a very, very nice group set. So starting off with the cockpit in here, we have on here the Scott Syncros Fraser IC-SL XC handlebar. This is a one-piece full carbon fiber bar and stem setup that is made by Syncros, which Syncros is going to be like the sister company to Scott. That makes all their components, their wheels, their handlebars, their cages, their saddles. This is made in-house by them. We do have this little rubber piece that you can actually go ahead and take off to go ahead and include a out front Garmin mount as well. You can see here the cables are ran internally down into the headset spacers and down to the head tube right here. With this feature on here, this makes it a little bit more aero, but does it really? I don't know why a lot of these companies are going more and more to these integration of these systems for these bikes. Pretty soon we're going to see where they really are ran into the internal bits of the handlebar and then down to the stem like the new Pinarello bike. All this means for mountain bike users is that it's going to be a more pain in the butt job to go ahead and change out your headset bearings, and you have to redo your brake lines. But that's neither here nor there. I do like integration of internal cables, but for mountain biking, I still think that because there's so much corrosion, so much wet, so much gunk, dirt that goes into it, that sometimes you might as well just leave this and put in the hole on the side right here for a cable and just call it a day. On here we have Scott Syncros own handlebar grips right here that are lock-on. They use a T20 to go ahead and do that. We do have on here Shimano XTR brakes with a carbon fiber body lever that are going to be super light, and they also have the Shimano XTR rotors on here as well. I do like the Shimano brakes. I think they are one of the greatest platforms out there for the braking system. Similar to a road bike, they don't really have the actuation like SRAM does. You basically just pull it, you hit a wall, and they stop. but when they're dialed in or they're bedded in, they work really well, and they're super lightweight, and they look really good too. For the shifter on here, it's going to be the SRAM Axis wireless shifter with the rocker paddle upgrade on here as well. That is very nice. It's a wireless shift that goes ahead and controls the 12 gears in the rear. Over on the other side, we have the front brake, which adjusts the front brake right here. And then we have SRAM's own patented twin lock system that everyone knows and loves. This system is one of the best systems out there, I think, on the market. It basically takes your suspension front and rear, controls it both at the same time, and you're able to go to a mid-feel, then also a lockout feel where it completely locks out the suspension from the front and the rear. It makes it a little bit better of a ride, especially for cross-country, fire roads, or if you really just want to go balls to the wall on the street. You have the release right here. But being this, you have some complications to overcome. Very hard to fit a command post dropper lever on here. That's why Scott made their own 3-lever system right here, but these are very hard to find. So if you do buy one of these bikes with a twin lock and you want to add a dropper post on aftermarket, it's very hard to get this worked into here. When you do have the third one, it works very well. This is for the dropper post right here. Press the button, post goes down, press the button again, post goes up. It's magic. But another downside is it looks absolutely hideous. I'm not a big fan of this whole rat's nest situation here, but it does work very well. For the front of the bike, we have on here the Fox 34 step cast fork with 120 millimeter travel with the factory Kashima coated on here with the gold. Basically with the Kashima coat, they said it reduces shock stick on there and it performs a little bit better. Also here, this is where you're going to put in the air for your weights. For the rider weight, you go ahead and remove this valve, then you can connect a shock pump onto here. And then over here you have your twin lock system where you can go ahead and press this now. This turns, and now it's fully locked out as well. The travel on this bike is 120 millimeter travel. Again, this seems to be almost the new norm for cross-country mountain bikes. We're seeing this now. That's making this bike more capable. And then, like I said, you do have this little, see this little separation between the frame and the fork crown. You have this little black cup. You go ahead and drop your fork, twist this cup 180 degrees, and this will make it to a point where it's a little bit more aggressive and make the head tube angle a little bit better for XC racing if you wanted to, which is pretty cool. Going down to the wheels on here, this is where it gets juicy. These wheels alone are $5,000. These are called the Scott Synchros Silverton 2.0s. It's a full one-piece carbon fiber wheel system. This whole wheel system is made one piece. These spokes are carbon fiber. They're all one piece together. They connect to the rim itself. They connect to the hub itself. Once these are made by carbon fiber, then they go ahead and take the hub shell, which is right here, and they insert it into that carbon fiber mold and let it cure. The internals for these hubs are going to be a DT Swiss 240 EXP. So it's a hub that everyone's familiar with. Now, you guys are probably asking yourselves, how do you go ahead and adjust these if you were to make these out of true? Well, you can't. You can't replace spokes. You can't true these things. Once they're done, they're done. What really comes down to is that they have a crash replacement program, which I think is like up to 1 year. I think it's 50% off. 2 years. No, I'm sorry. I forget the exact one, but I think it's like 1 year, 50% off. 2 years, 35% off. 3 years, 25% off. A whole new wheel set. Now, that's crazy out of touch money. But again, if you're buying a $15,000 bike, I think it might just be dropping the bucket to you. If you do ruin your wheels, you probably will be able to go ahead and replace them at no really charge to you. The wheel system is really great. It's a super light system. Also being a one piece, they are very, very stiff, which is great for lateral flex. You don't want a lot of that when putting on power. They also have really wide internal width for the wheels. I believe they're 30 millimeter for internal width. So that's very, very nice. We're seeing more and more companies do that with the internal width being that large. That's going to make the whole rim stiffer as well for climbing, better cornering, and also better sprint speeds. And you can also run a lower tire pressure as well. Tires that come on here are going to be the Maxxis Recon Race and the 29 by 2.4. Nice tire clearance on here. Very smooth. They are tubeless ready as always. And then for the rotors over here, we have a Shimano XTR 180 millimeter rotor in the front with the Shimano XTR disc brake caliper right here as well. With this fork, a standard 160 millimeter is the smallest you can go on here, as you can see by the adapter. But yes, going down the down tube of this bike, you can see it's a gorgeous kind of red to fade and this metallic. The whole bike is matte, but you have this metallic fade all the way down to the bottom. And then we get to your water barrel bolts here. Boom, boom, boom. You have a Spark logo right here, RC logo for race. Boom, boom, boom. SL logo right here. And then now to the rear shock, where you can see there is a rear shock housed inside of this carbon fiber. It's hidden. It's supposed to make it better longevity for the shock. less gunk to get inside there, less sand, less things to worry about for the consumer. And this is going to keep this away from the elements of the world. We have this little shock door right here that we go ahead and pop down, bam, boop, bop, beep. Then we can see there, that's going to be your shock right there as well. That's your Fox Nude Kashima coated. Hit that back in there, bam, boop, beep, lock this thing up. They do sell replacements for those shock doors on there. Downside is they are kind of flimsy. I wish they made it in carbon fiber for this model. I wish they made it for carbon fiber in this model specifically because it's so super light, but they are easily replaced. Again, we really haven't had any issues with these shocks themselves in terms of wear on them. And I do think this is a great design. Only concern people are saying with these shocks is that them being so enclosed in here and that over so much usage and these shocks going up and down, that there's a chance for the heat to get overworked on that shock and maybe some expanding or maybe some wear to that shock, excessive wear with the heat in there. But I haven't seen anything of that nature with these shocks on there. The SL is the lightest model they make of these bikes. Also with this twin lock, if you guys do not know, this bike right now is set up is 120mm front, 120mm rear. If we go ahead and click this twin lock, boom, right there, it's going to turn it to 100mm travel, boom, boom. And then if we click it one more time, I know it's locked out, but it says by Scott, it has now 80/80 travel right there. So that is a pretty cool feature with the bike as well. You get 3 bikes in one with this situation. For the crank on here, it is a press fit system, a BB86 press fit system on here. We do have on here a SRAM XX1 crank with a cork power meter with a 32 tooth chain ring and a cork power meter that has a battery cover there. You do get a SRAM XX1 Rainbow Eagle chain, and then to the back we have on here a SRAM XX1 cassette 1052, 52 tooth being the top chain ring, the 10 tooth being the bottom, and then you have a SRAM Axis rear derailleur XX1 as well. Top line, you're gonna have a carbon fiber cage, all that good stuff on that. It looks really, really nice. No, I bet you won't. Huh? Bet you won't. Don't do it, you're scaring me. Actually? I don't know. Okay. Anyways, after all that shenanigans right there. Same wheel as the front as the rear. The Syncro Silverton SL 2.0 with a 30mm internal width. And then the hub shell right here is their own carbon fiber hub shell, but it has DT240 EXP internals. Free up body, little preview right there. We can also see here they did some great job with the linkage, kind of give it some cover up points. That way there's no kind of inclusion of dirt or water that can get inside there, which is really nice. And then the same tire as well in the rear as the front. This is the Maxxis Recon Race and a 29x2.4. They are tubeless ready as well. And you do get the included tubeless valves with a $15,000 bike. Rear rotor is going to be a 160mm rear rotor, center lock as well. You do get the included Scott tool that you always see here. That's a T25, a T30, and also a 6mm Allen key for this bike if you have any kind of adjustments you need to make. And then last but not least, you do have their Fox Transfer SL and the gold Kashima coated seat posts. This is a dropper post. I believe it's 120mm of travel, which is more than enough. And also you have their Scott Silverton saddle. I'm sorry, their Belcara saddle, carbon fiber rails, carbon fiber body as well. You have this little sag indicator right here to kind of go ahead and help you adjust the shock when you're sitting on it. You have this little open up port right here to go ahead and mount the shock as well. So sorry guys, I got something in my throat. But also for the bottom bracket as well, this is a press fit BB86 SRAM dub bottom bracket as well. But anyways guys, that's gonna do it for this video. Absolute beautiful bike, but is it worth that $15,000 price point? It is very, very steep, but these bikes, I'll tell you what, these bikes are always very expensive, but we are never left with any of these bikes at the end of the year. Someone does always buy the bike, and they are absolutely beautiful bike. So thank you guys again so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. All right, we have here the Scott Syncro Silverton SL 2.0 wheel set with a DT Swiss 240 rear hub internal. Here comes a free buy contest on this bike right here. Oh my God. Sounds really good actually. I think that the hub, the whole one-piece carbon fiber body of this thing makes it sound a little bit different than normal TT240. Anyways guys, that's gonna do it for this video.
make sure you guys go ahead and like and subscribe to my channel. If you guys could, go ahead and make sure that all airlocks are closed by next to passengers. And if you do have to replace a gas mask over the face, then go ahead and put it over the baby's face in front of your own face. Make sure you secure your own air mask before you go ahead and put it over the baby's mask itself. Alright guys, thank you very much. Bye.